Right, welcome to Canada. This weekend we're hoping to build on what was a very impressive finish from George Russell last time out in Russia. He has got a dodgy neck, so the worry is he might not perform anywhere near to the capability that he can. But it's meant to be dry all weekend, so the rain shouldn't play an impact. And fingers crossed, we'll be able to get ourselves some more points. I'm going to get this practice out of the way. I'll see you guys for qualifying. So 12th and 15th, very disappointing. Latifi getting the 12th, Russell getting the 15th. This might not be the track we were hoping it would be. I was hoping it might suit us a little bit. I'm going to get more on the soft tyres, I think. No, oh, we're in quali, aren't we? So ultra soft. In the race, we'll probably do soft tyres because I think we're going to be using them a little bit more. Right, Latifi's very unhappy with his setup. Get that in there. I think he wants this. He's going to want this a little more this way, I reckon. And the speed balance, a bit more in the middle. George isn't as unhappy, but he's still pretty unhappy. So we'll drag that. So there's quite a lot of downforce. The handling was great, so we'll get that onto there. We'll go with that. Take qualifying. Right. I think it's Latifi's time to head out first. So here we go. We will do what we can to get in the best possible tyres. So Latifi will come around now and he'll start his lap. And while he does that, we are going to send George out. George, forever doing stuff for George. He's so good. Forever makes it almost impossible for me to not give him the best equipment. And Latifi is very unhappy that I keep giving George the best equipment. But what am I supposed to do? George is the best driver. He's performing. So we'll speed this up now. He's just doing his lap. And we'll see where we are. And George goes quicker than Latifi. George P12. Yeah, you will be going out again, don't you worry, mate. We'll slow it back down a little bit. There's a nice gap though there. There's a nice gap. Mazepin quite slow. Schumacher slow. They're both improving. We'll see where Ocon comes in. Ocon is coming in 14th. Giovinazzi has improved as well. Right, we're going to send out Latifi. Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it. We might have just ruined this for him. We're going to bring him in. No, we'll have to send George out. New Ultra Softs for George. Let's see if we'll have to wait now until the warm-up lap of George is done. For the tyres, so now we're going to send out Latifi. Can he improve? George is improving at the moment. Well, that felt pretty good. So George is into P9, 5/10 off first. Now it's down to Latifi. What can he do? Sector 1, he is up. Can he get into Q2? He is up in there, but I don't think this is going to be a Q2 time. For Latifi, P15! Latifi gets into Q2 alongside George Russell. He just about makes it. We'll speed it up going round. He was the last car on track. Oh, happy days. Happy days. So it is Ocon, Sonoda, Giovinazzi, Mazepin and Schumacher who are out in Q1. Latifi sneaks through. George in 11th. Both cars in Q2. Jeez, I'm not even sure. Is that a first this season? That might be a first this season. It might have happened once before. It's definitely the first in a while. But we are going to send Latifi out. We'll get optimising his tyres and brakes. So we try and eke these out. We've got some perfect tyres. I always aim just to get the perfect tyres. And now we will do George. Latifi's just starting his lap time, as you can see. A little worried by the traffic on track, if I'm honest. That is a little worrying. George, we might be about to let him down in terms of his tyres. No, we've got him perfect. Latifi is 6/10 off first. So George is now going, and we'll speed it up for George's lap, which puts George P30. So George is ahead of Latifi. Do I send them both out again? In terms of tyres, I think Russell is better off. But again, we're not going to use ultra softs really in the race, I wouldn't have thought. So we will send out Latifi for another go. Another attempt to improve, maybe pick up another place or two. Get the green. It's got good tyres. It's not going to be a good lap then, is it? I messed that up. We'll send out George. I would not expect Latifi to be faster on this sector. No, he's slower. It's a shame. Perfect tyres for Russell. I let Latifi down there. Russell's up. He's up again. Russell's in P8. George Russell is a monster. And we are done. We're not going to send Latifi back out. I can't see him improving. It's all about, does Russell finish? I think he does. I think Russell's in Q3 yet again. Mr. Saturday pulling out the bag. Talking to Mr. Saturday, qualifying in 3rd place for the Russian Grand Prix in real life today. Get in there, George. Get in there, Lando, for being on pole. Here we go for Q3. What can we do? I'm just happy with Q3, to be fair. I'm happy to have 2 cars in Q2. That's what I'm happy with. Simply incredible. Here's George coming out. Let's just sit here. We need to get the tyres up, otherwise we're wasting our time. These tyres do not want to get up. We've got them on perfect. Show us what you can do, George. It's only 4/10 slower. 5/10 slower now. What, 8/10? Max has done a bolster of a lap. I think we might leave it there. Save the tyres for the race. We're never going to really progress too far forward, so we'll save the tyres for the race. Ricciardo will have to go out on the quicker tyre if he wants to beat us. But at the moment, it looks like it's going to be Max Verstappen on pole. So keep an eye on the little tabs. He's not bettering. Will Hamilton. Hamilton's gone green, but Max gone purple in sector 2. What's it gonna? Hamilton's gone purple in sector 2. Hamilton grabs pole. Sometimes I sit here and I think he may just be a little overpowered. He's winning everything, poling everything. Max Verstappen. That's the 2nd Grand Prix on the trot where Max has probably thought, I've got pole here, and then Lewis just pulls out a lap last minute and takes it off him. Simply incredible. And here we are for race day in Canada. The grid's ready. Are we ready? We'll find out. We're going to go for the extra performance on the soft tyres for George, and extra performance on the super softs for Latifi, because that's what I'm putting him on. So Latifi, the only change we're making for him is he's going to go onto super softs instead of the ultra soft, just so these two are on then on completely different strategies. I know he's using old tyres anyway, so they would be, but I just prefer it if my driver's on completely different strategies. Right, that's Max from Max in 2nd, Lewis on pole, Valtteri then ahead of Lance Stroll, Checo and in 5th ahead of Sainz, Lando in 7th ahead of Alonso in 8th. There's George in 9th with Ricciardo in 10th. Vettel just missing out on Q3 in 11th with Pierre Gasly 12th. Charles Leclerc in 13th, but Nicholas Latifi sits in 14th. Incredible. Kimi Räikkönen in 15th, Esteban Ocon starts 16th, Yuki Tsunoda managed to qualify in 17th, Giovinazzi in 18th, and the 2 Haas cars prop up the field with Mazepin in 19th and Schumacher in 20th. Let's get ready for lights out. We want to watch George. And it's go, go, go. Ricciardo gets a launch, but so does George. And George is past Alonso. George is past Alonso. Latifi's up to 13th. We've got to keep an eye on George early doors just to make sure when to pit, basically. When to pit. And it looks like Vettel will get through. Vettel's had a brilliant start from 11th to 8th. Just the start he'd have been hoping for. We're going to just speed it up right now, and George is falling backwards. He's now out of the points, so it's not great from him. And then here we go, ERS, let's go. George trying to get himself through. We'll save a bit of that now. George is up to 6th after using his ERS. We'll get Latifi on some ERS as well. Latifi's dropped well back, to be fair. He's fallen back like a lead balloon. And we'll go back to normal, say 15% for if we need it. Latifi's up to 12th after that. Go on, George, keep going. If I need to use the RS, I will, to get you past Alonso. Through there, and we're just going to use it now, because when we pit, we're going to be charging it back up anyway, so we may as well use it to get away. Let's have a quick look. So George, I will probably pit. Do I pit him this lap? That's the question we're on now. Latifi's tyres are going quite well at the moment. He's now in 10th, so he's doing really well. We might give him a bit of ERS. We're going to pit George now, and then George is going to go on to the soft tyre. It'll be the only stint he does on the soft tyre, mind. That will take us to about lap 24. Okay. We'll do that. We'll recharge the battery by 50%, and we will pit George this lap. We're going to then put his ERS on, and we'll see what happens. We're hoping for a little bit of an undercut, I think. So now we've got to keep an eye on Latifi. He's next. So we use George to use that ERS to get himself up a little bit. That Ferrari in front of us, which is Leclerc, is using a bit of ERS to get away. We're going to use this 10% now to try and catch back up a little bit to Leclerc. But at the moment, Latifi's definitely going alright. I'm very happy with how he's managing these tyres. As far as I can work out, it is going to be about lap 11-12 where he's going to be into the position where he's got a pit, and that is fine by me. Russell has actually managed to come out ahead of Checo and Bottas and Norris. Maybe it's not going to be lap 10 or 11. His tyres are starting to go off. Come on, Nicholas, don't do this to us, mate. Let's see if he has Hamilton behind him. And he'll keep going as far as he can. We're going to use this ERS now just to kind of defend a little bit from Lewis. If we can now. Lewis with the faster tyre. Well, it's not the fast tyres as he's on the softs, but the faster car. And we'll come round, and this will be the lap where we're going to pit. You are going to pit for fresh tyres now, mate, don't worry. If we had another stint like that and then went on to them, or do we just do 2 lots of these and expect everything to be okay? We're going to do that. We're going to pit. Now we can follow George, who I'm going to put a bit of ERS on. George using his ERS to get away. He's stuck up behind Alonso again. Not where he wants to be. Checo's coming up through and Checo takes George. Usually I will say it should be a good spot though. Coming out of here, Latifi will get him on some ERS. We'll save that little bit more, and we'll use this little bit of ERS now on George to get him up right behind him. And he is, man, because of that ERS, Russell is out ahead of Raikkonen, who on fresher tyres is going to try and get past. He will get past. George attacking Checo. He gets through, but Checo's got off the inside line. But George will have it now, and George is through on Checo. Brilliant racing. Oh, ERS, he's going to use that, so we'll use some to just try and get away from Checo if we can. And now with Latifi, we're going to use some ERS to try and help him progress. We'll have a quick look exactly what's going on with Latifi. He's just back here at the moment, to be fair. Yeah, he's just tootling along in his own little world. So we'll go back to George. That's where the racing is at the moment. A little boost. Doesn't do much. Checo's going to get past with some ERS here. He is through. And George down to 14th. Whereabouts are we though? That's the big question in all this. And people are pitting. George is coming round now. He's in 9th place. Leclerc and Gasly will have to pit again. We're going to use a bit of ERS here. Same with both of them. Can have a bit of ERS. Try and combat what's going on here. Give us a bit of a boost. So when it comes to Russell, we're going to take him around one more time, and you will then pit for. We're going to now pit you for fresh tyres, mate. Don't you worry. The issue we've got with Russell is he's going to have to do that extra stop because it's only laps 17 and 38. Those will only go so far. So if we go with these and then maybe those, you have to fix a part as well. This is not going well, this race now for George. Getting into Q3 was the biggest mistake. We should never have got into Q3. So George will go around doing his bit. Latifi, well, no, you look how far Latifi is. I'm planning on Latifi doing a pit stop less than George. That means at the moment Latifi is our bet for getting in. So we're going to give him that ERS. We're going to give George that ERS just as he enters the pits. That helped. But when it comes to Latifi, he is now a money grab because he is hopefully only going to need to pit one more time. That's the plan with Latifi anyway, for him to only pit one more time. George is out. We'll give him that ERS to try and combat Norris with, if he can. Norris using ERS as well, so he'll get away in the end. Right now, it's not looking good for George, but when it comes to Latifi, it's looking alright. It's looking alright. As long as he manages the tyres correctly, and we bring him in at the right point, he should make it to the end after the next stop. Let's just go through here. We're going to keep him on these tyres. He's struggling to get past Raikkonen, which is now what he's trying to do, and he's really struggling to get past. He's passed. Brilliant move. George, use a bit of ERS, mate. Right, we're going to pit him. We're going to pit him for another set of softs. I'm at a point now where I don't know if he will go to the end, and that is worrying me. So now we can focus on George, who is right behind Lando Norris. I think he's been right behind Lando for quite a while. He's side by side, and he's got the run. George into 16th. George will have to pit again. Latifi, we don't know. Being brutal about it, we don't know. He might not. George, we're going to use a little bit of ERS now. He's in 15th place. Latifi's looking very racy. If he gets to that point where he's right behind George, we will be using team commands. I've got to make a call. His tyres. He's got 13 laps to go. Do I tell him to conserve, but then he's just going to be really slow? I'm going to tell him to conserve his tyres a little bit. We're going to speed this along. I know you're churning through the tyres, George. Don't you worry, mate. I'm well aware that you're going for your tyres much quicker than I would like. So we're going to use ERS now. So when is George going to be coming in? Because he's really getting through these tyres. Latifi's in 15th. He's actually doing alright and he's holding station. George has to come in this lap. He's just done. And it will be for another set of super softs in the hope that you can take these to the end. Part condition, all the parts are okay. Turn that up. Pit. Latifi. Over to you, buddy. Over to you. At some point we will take you off conserving your tyres. Don't you worry, that will happen. Alonso's retired. Alonso's retired, so that helps us. He's going to use the ERS as the McLaren to get past Latifi now. So Latifi's in 14th. I'm just trying to keep these tyres. George, use some ERS, mate. Let's go. So George has got tyres. He's got to try and take to the end. Latifi, I don't know what's going to happen with Latifi. He's 11th. There's 7 laps to go. Keep conserving. He's in 10th place. Just keep conserving. Latifi, have a bit of ERS, mate. Get that place back. He's up into 8th. At what point do we take him off conserving? George can have some ERS as well. This car coming up behind Latifi here. So Latifi is currently in 7th place. Who is the car? It's Gasly on super soft, so we're on a faster tyre as well. Latifi's doing what he can. George, ERS. Latifi, no, ERS. They're catching up to Latifi at a horrendous rate. What can Latifi get his first points? He's in 7th. He's got 2 laps to go. George just is into 11th. George is into a battle for the points, but I can't take my eyes off Latifi. I just cannot take my eyes off the Latifi. George's tyres are gone. I don't think we're going to see George getting any points. I think his tyres are completely shot. Yeah, George's tyres are shot. But Latifi gets a 7th place. I believe that equals our best finish for the season. George got a 7th somewhere along the line. I know that. Charles Leclerc smashes a 2-stopper and gets the race victory. But I was this close before this episode to signing Nico Hülkenberg. This close. And on his home Grand Prix, Nicholas Latifi gets a 7th place finish, brings his first points home of the season. Look, 6 points. Absolutely brilliant. Fantastic. He drove those tyres at the end perfectly. Absolutely perfectly. And the Drivers' Championship standings, there he is, he's 17th. He's no longer with Mazepin on no points. He's on 17 with 6. George still on 11. And we are no longer 9th. We are up to 8th with 17 points. Aston Martin are now in 9th with 16. Haas are on 3. Oh, this is a happy Grand Prix. What a race. It all fell into place for Nicholas there. It all fell into place. And I'm over the moon. I'm absolutely over the moon. Oh, fantastic. His morale will shoot up after a result like that. Yep, 26%. Continue, get a bit more money in the bank. I'm over the moon. Like, I really am. It means so much when your car does well, especially when it's their first points of the season. And next up, we are back to Russia in what looks like it's going to be a rainy race. I'll see you then. If you've liked this episode, please drop the video a like, give me a subscribe, because there's plenty more where this came from. It's not a 1 season thing. This is going to be over a few seasons. I'm really enjoying it. I'll see you guys in Russia again.